What's up, nail friends? If you follow my Instagram, sometimes I put up polls asking you guys what you'd like to see. And in my last poll, I got a lot of people asking for hard gel. So that's what we're going to do today. And then we're going to do more of a in-depth beginner set because that was also requested. Tips and tricks and basics. So if you want to see that, let's get started. So I actually have most of this set in real time speed, so I didn't speed it up. So I'm just showing you guys, this was what her last set looked like. I will do a tutorial of her last set later, but I'm kind of like not in order anymore of my videos because I have so many. But anyways, so what I'm doing here is I'm taking my e-file and I'm just filing down her past set with a carbide. So her past set is a Luminary gel manicure, and I do have my double camera angle again because that has been requested from a lot of people. I actually broke my big camera that I normally use to film with, and then I had to get a new one, and it is the newer version, and it's the overhead one in this one. So it's a little bit brighter than normal because I haven't gotten used to it yet, so please ignore that. It will get better. So anyways, what I'm doing here is I'm taking my carbide and I'm just filing down her past set. I'm just filing it relatively thin, but not insanely thin. And I'm using the carbide to shorten the nails as well. Then I switch over to a hand file, and that's what I do to fix up my shaping and try to get that correct. So I don't really use my e-file for any of my shaping. I use my hand file for my shaping. So that's what I'm doing here. Just going over her almond shape, shortening it a bit and refining her shape. Now on to prep. So I'm pushing back her skin, and you can see all that skin on her nail plate. That has to be removed or else her gel won't stick to it. So I'm just pushing that skin back with a cuticle tool. I actually sell this on the Nail Throne website if you guys are interested. So moving that skin out of the way, and then I'm switching my e-file bit over to a diamond bit here, and this is a cuticle diamond bit, so this is meant to remove the cuticle skin that's left on the nail plate. I'm also using it to remove the shine as well. So this is very gentle. You don't need it on a super high speed, and you don't want to put a lot of pressure down. So I'll prep all the nails at the same time, but in this video I'm obviously skipping ahead here just so you guys don't have to watch the same thing over and over. So I've switched to a football tool, and I go down in the cuticle area on one side, then I reverse it on my e-file and go down the other side, and that just helps get any extra little bits you've missed in the corners of the natural nail. So I'm switching here to this buffing bit here, and I'm just using this to push the skin out of the way and remove any extra skin that could be sticking out, which will get in the way of application. So after that's all done, I did that on all the nails. Now we can pick our colors.
Don't be shy. Okay.
We can open these out. Well, okay. I can open them because I don't know if you're afraid.
I don't want to.
Okay, do you want to see some of them? You had this one before, so we probably won't use that one.
Oh, that's the galaxy color.
It's a snake charmer. So not that one. Okay. Which ones do you think look pretty? I'll pull some out. Well, you can't really tell with the lids on, but you can kind of tell with the lids on.
Oops. This is more like fall color.
Let's see.
Let's see. Nope, it's not fall.
Not fall at all.
Okay. MVM. I mean, I like that green because, let's be honest.
Let's see.
Yes. What's that?
That's that see-through Sweet Nothings one.
Do you think that would go well together? I think it would.
Yeah, and then we can add some like flakes in there, or like something that matches. Wait, are you sure you don't want to see anything else opened? Because remember this one? French press.
Well, that one's always
That was always a good one.
I also, you could add it in the mix.
I want it to be simple, so that someone could, right?
Simple. Let's see the orange now, just in case.
You're not gonna like it, but
I'm not. It's not bad.
It's like Mylar flakes. See, it's not really like easy to use.
That's not easy to use.
Okay, so we're gonna go with Sweet Nothings and moves like Jagger. So after all the colors have been chosen, I'm just going to use a lint-free wipe and some alcohol to wipe off her nails to get rid of some of that dust. Then instead of adding prep or prime to any of her nails, I only do that on her ring finger because I'm going to be applying on that nail and then I'm going to file it before application, and I don't want the sticky primer on her other nails to attract dust. So only prime the nail that I'm working on. So I did have to cut this form to fit her nail. So you kind of just like hold the form up to the nail and then you cut where the longest part of her nail is. You want to cut that into the form so that it fits nice and snug under there. And then I just push this under her nail, get it under the two corners, and then adjust it with my hands, try to push it up so that she doesn't get a ledge under there. And then you can have your form sticking slightly upward, but you definitely don't want it pointing downward. So either straight out or upward, and that'll give you the best C curve. The clear gel I'm using here is Light Elegance Cool Gel. So at first I'm just dipping in, picking up a little bit of that cool gel and placing it right along the free edge and the form. Just trying to make sure that I get that really nice and close up into the sides and overlapping the natural nail. That way when you take off the form, you don't just break it right off, right? You need it overlapping the natural nail. So what I'm doing here is I'm just kind of swirling it in circles until I get it where I want it on my brush. And then I turn my brush sideways so that the thickest part of the brush is actually sideways, you guys can see here. And then I just gently and carefully move the gel around until I'm happy with the shape. So here I'm making an almond shape, and I actually play around with this quite a bit because I wanted to make sure it was perfect. And I am so used to doing acrylic, and when you put acrylic down on a form, it's really easy to see because clear is kind of foggy until it dries clear, whereas clear gel is legit clear and hard to see. So I actually prefer, if I'm sculpting in gel, to sculpt with something like natural fiber in Light Elegance where you can actually see it really well on the form, because I just find it a little bit hard to see. But either way, it's okay. As long as you get your general shape, you can file it with your hand file and fix it up anyway. So if it's not perfect, don't worry about it. So here I'm just grabbing a little bit more of that gel and trying to even this out. That way it'll be a little bit easier when I'm applying on top if it's nice and even. So I give that a full cure. And then now I'm going to take off her form. So to do that, I'm just using some alcohol and a lint-free wipe, squeezing the nail and making it come up off that form. That way I'm not wearing gloves and I don't get any of the tacky layer on my fingers because I don't want to be touching the products with my bare hands. So here I'm just really extra cleansing that because I am shaping it with a hand file in order to try to make it match the other nails. So a tip for you guys that works for me is when I'm sculpting, I do like to sculpt the nail that I'm fixing a little bit longer than the other nails. That way that there's no way when you take the form off that it's too short, and you can always shorten it. So I always do it a little bit longer than it needs to be. So I'm only just slightly filing that because I didn't really need a lot. Wiping off the dust, and now I'm cleansing the nail again before priming the nail. So I'm coming in with Light Elegance Vita Prime. And then I'm going to come in with Light Elegance Tack as well. So now we can come in and add our base layer. So I'm going in with that cool gel, and I'm just picked up a little bit on my brush and I'm just rubbing that in, really, really thin base layer on all the nails. So I'm placing that down on the natural nail. And then I'm just using the very, very pointy tip of my brush to push it close to the cuticle area, but you want it close, but don't touch the skin. So after that's been cured, I did that on all the nails. Now I'm coming in and I'm applying Luminary Nail System's Faith on this nail because that's what she had down on the other nails, and this nail was clear and I knew that was just not gonna work with the color glitters that we picked for our glitter fade. This nail would have looked totally different, so my friend suggested I go in with the Faith color that I used on the other nails first in order to make all the nails match. So that's what I'm doing here. So this is just an extra step, just showing you guys what I did to make the nails all the same color before starting. Okay, so now we can start our glitter fade. Super easy glitter fade too. So now I'm taking that snake charmer on my brush. So you'll want to use two different brushes when you're doing gel. If you're using glitter, you'll use one brush for glitter and one brush for clear. So that's what I'm using here. I switched over to my glitter brush. So I've placed down the snake charmer right in the very free edge of the nail and tried to make it nice and even at the very tip. Then I flipped my brush upside down, wiped off any extra product, and just carefully pulled it up the nail lightly. So this is what you would do for any color. So you want to place your color down first, fade it up the nail, and then give it a cure before going in with the next color. So what I'm doing here is I first did the pinky, cured that, and now I'm doing the ring finger and the middle finger. I realized that I could definitely do 2 nails at a time and cure them. You don't need to do 1 at a time, because you just don't want your glitters to move around and you don't want to accidentally touch them or anything, you know? You don't want to mess up your work. So that's why I usually do cure in between each, but I realized that was just completely unnecessary and kind of a waste of time. So I am doing 2 at a time. So I'm placing it down like you see, trying to make it as even as I can. It is a see-through color, so that is even easier when doing a glitter fade. If you have a nude underneath, you can just place it down, fade it up the nail, and it doesn't have to be completely perfect because it is supposed to be nice and sparse, because that's the color, what the color is. So I'm just trying to make it really even before curing it. That way it'll be a little bit easier when it comes to encapsulating and finish filing. So once I've got my bottom half done, now I'm coming in with Sweet Nothing. So I picked up a large bead on my brush, placed it near the cuticle area, realized I put too much on and wiped it off. And then you're just going to gently pull it down into that snake charmer glitter color. So you could do this with any colors. I'm just showing you guys a super light kind of mermaid color combination. So I can do 2 at a time with this one as well. So that's what I'm doing here. Placing it down, pushing it up towards the cuticle area, making it really even, and then just fading that gently down into that snake charmer color. And like I said, it's already been cured, so you're not going to move any of your product out of the way, which makes the glitter fade a little bit easier. So then right away, I'm picking up some of these flakies. These are ice crystal glitters from the nail team. They match the Sweet Nothings. So I haven't cured Sweet Nothings. I'm just going right in using a fan brush. This one's from Elegance. And I'm just picking up some of those glitters and dropping it onto the Sweet Nothings color, which will help make this look even more like a super pretty mermaid glitter fade. And I'm just gently and carefully pushing those glitters down into the bottom color as well. We don't want a lot of them because this is more supposed to be on top of the Sweet Nothings color. So not too much. And then you can just use your fingers with your gloves. Don't do this with your natural fingers. And push down any bits that are sticking up. So we're going to do that on all the nails before coming in and encapsulating them. So they're all cured. So now I've switched my brush back to my clear brush, and I'm going into my cool gel, picking up a small amount, about the same amount I used, maybe a little bit more for the base layer. So you're going to go in from cuticle to tip, and you're going to kind of rub this in, get it really, really into all the little flakies that could be sticking up, and that way you won't get any visible bubbles. You want to make sure to get everything fully covered, and then you can go in with your builder layer. I have the finger pointed downward. That'll help with gravity and help the bead go where it needs to go. And then that way you won't flood the cuticle area. So the stand I'm using, I will definitely link that in my description box for you guys, so you guys can pick up a stand like this, because it really helps keep the finger in the correct position for application for both gel and acrylic. So now I apply that cool gel at the cuticle area. Like I said, I jiggle it down the nail from right to left, try to encapsulate the whole nail. If I didn't add enough, I add a little bit more. And now I'm just trying to make it really, really even, right where the apex is going to be, right in the center of the nail. And I'm just going up and down, trying to maneuver that gel where I want it to go. Cool gel doesn't seem to run very easily into the cuticle area or anything, so you don't really need to worry about that. But you do need to play with it a little bit right in the center just to get your arch correct. So that's what I was doing. I had her flip her hand upside down. It helps the product go where it needs to go. And then I'm just moving from the very tip, just trying to pull that gel where I want it before curing, making sure it's nice and even and perfect. And then she gives it a full cure. That way it's a little bit easier for finish filing. So I'm just cleansing the nails off with some alcohol. That way I can get the tacky layer off before hand filing. So I do like to hand file when I do gel nails because they're soft and they're easy to file. And if you're using any kind of carbide, you could over file because it's so soft. You really don't need it. So I'm just going around the sidewalls, trying to make this really even, fixing up my almond shape. I go around the cuticle area with this, and then I go over the whole nail, Just try to thin it out, even it out, and debulk the nail with this. I just like to spend a lot of time finish filing, so I'll do one nail at a time. I continue doing the one nail until I have it perfect, and then I move on to the next nail until I have all 10 nails done. So I never like to rush my finish filing process. So I always just look at the nail from a bunch of different angles, and I just try to make it as even as I possibly can. So underneath this nail, she does have a little chunk that's kind of sticking out, which is making the nail look like it is bending downward. So I will go underneath there and fix that up in a second with my hand file. But first I like to get the shape from my view first. And then I'm going under there. You can see here now, going underneath, trying to get that piece that was kind of under there. And that way the nail can look nice and straight when you're looking at it from the side. So now, after I've done all 10 nails, I wipe off all the dust as well as I can. Then I'm going in with a lint-free wipe, going around the cuticle area, getting all the dust out of the cuticle and underneath the nail. So now we're done. So I'm not doing anything else special to this nail. That was just a simple design for you guys, a simple glitter fade gel design, because it's been a while since I did gel. So if you guys like gel, please give me a thumbs up. Let me know down below if you've missed my gel tutorials and what you want to see next. So now we're just top coating these nails. I'm using my Glitter Bells No Wipe top coat, and it's so shiny. Look how pretty it is. And then I'm gonna go ahead and give that a full cure. So after that's been cured, I put some cuticle oil on, massaged it in really well, and then had her wash her hands. And here is the finished design. So I hope this was easy for you guys to follow, and I hope that someone took some value out of this, watching from start to finish, showing you guys some tips and tricks. And I hope that this was something that interested you guys, because it's been a while since I've done any gel tutorials, and I got requested to do something a little bit more beginner friendly. So if this helps someone, please let me know down below. Thanks for watching, guys, so much, and if you want to see more videos, please click the bell next to the subscribe button, and I will see you guys next time. Bye.